Welcome to episode 14 of the Godly Young Men podcast. Today we're talking about the importance of caring about your appearance and why it matters to look good, especially out in public, especially with as regards to others, to ourselves. And you might listen to that and you might see the title of this and go, man, this really doesn't matter. Who cares? Like this is, let's skip. Next one, you want me to listen to this. That doesn't seem to be all that important. I look fine, whatever it is. And we would encourage you not to. We think this is actually really important. Why is that?
Yeah, so we'll grant you, this is not near as important as the last episode we did.
Absolutely.
About lust or stepping up in a relationship with God or, this does not rank at the top of the list as far as most important topics. We understand that. However, this is something we both really, really believe. This is something that we're passionate about in order to be a godly young man, in order to, again, strive for greatness. Going back to episode 1, episode 1, not to be arrogant, this was a good episode. Go back and watch episode 1 if you have not, because again, it sets the stage for this whole show. But to strive for greatness in every area of your life, in every aspect of your life, we think your appearance falls into that. You can strive for greatness as far as your appearance, the way you care, the way you present yourself, the way you carry yourself. And one of the things, as we were talking about the need for this episode, is we've seen a lot of young men, and typically more on the younger end, but some are on the later teens, early 20s, who you can tell do not care about their appearance. They don't care about the way their hair looks. They don't care about what clothes they wear.
They just rolled out of bed, or it looks like it.
And some people, some guys that I know specifically would look at that and be like, that's a real man right there. Don't care about the way you look. We disagree. We don't think that that's a quote-unquote real man at all.
Right.
And so we want to talk about why that is and why we think that this is important. Again, not the most important of topics, so to speak, but we do think it ties into being a godly young man, to care about the way you present yourself. We have a few caveats first we want to throw out there. This is not about pride, and it shouldn't be about pride.
Right.
This should not be an issue where you're like, I just for the sake of myself, for the sake of being arrogant, I want to look the best. Shouldn't be about that. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, this can also absolutely be taken too far.
Oh, it absolutely can.
It can be taken too far. It's not about, the pride and, wow, look at me, and pump my chest, and boy, I am put together. It's also, it can be taken too far where we are we care too much about what others think. We care too much about our appearance, to the point that it's like, man, just put on some clothes and walk out the door.
Well, and there's scripture that talks about, look, you should not care that much about your external appearance.
Right.
The Proverbs 31 comes to mind. Charm is deceitful, beauty is fleeting, but a woman who fears the Lord shall be praised. It's about women, obviously, but it still applies to men in the sense that, look, the way you look on the outside is going to fade what matters on the inside, or what matters on the inside. Jesus in Matthew 23 talking to the Pharisees. Yes, he's talking about morality and kind of spiritual righteousness more so than the way you look. When he talks about, hey, look, you make the outside look really good, but your insides are trash. I think that can very much apply as well here to clothes and the way you present yourself. But these are things that we think matter. And so we have a few things we want to talk about as far as why this matters. And the first one that I want to get to as far as why is presenting yourself well and why caring about your appearance matters is because, do you want people to take you seriously or not? As a man, as a godly young man, do you want people to take you seriously? And people can deny this. The people that think that, you shouldn't care about your appearance as a guy can deny this. But you have two people that walk into a room. One is disheveled. One, got their hair sticking up because they haven't showered. Yep. You can tell their clothes don't match, maybe not ironed or whatever. Do you take that person more seriously, or the person that comes in and is well groomed, got nice looking clothes, and maybe not necessarily wealthy clothes or anything like that, but you can tell that they put some thought into what they're wearing. They knew they were going out in public, so they put some thought into it.
Comb their hair.
Which one do you take more seriously?
Right.
It's common sense. You take the one who clearly has got themselves better put together more seriously. And so, to me, this is reason enough to care. You want people to take you seriously. Again, not to be prideful or arrogant, but so, again, you have an adult, you have people in the work environment, you have people at church, whatever it is. I take that person seriously. I take that guy seriously. He clearly cares. That matters.
Think about a job interview. That's what was coming to my mind as you think about it. We're speaking to 15 to 25. Let's just throw out one that employs a lot of young people. Chick-fil-A. I think.
Sure.
Yeah, I've had multiple friends work at Chick-fil-A.
Great place to work, from what I understand. Yeah.
But we didn't actually. I didn't know you were going to say that.
That's a jinx.
That's right. That was a jinx. But great place to work. You're walking into Chick-fil-A, and again, you just rolled out of bed. It's a wrinkled shirt. You're a mess. How confident are you walking into that interview? You feel like you're going to get the job, or man,
how confident is that employer going, I don't know if I want to hire this guy?
That's exactly. Is he going to show up to work like this? I mean, I can't stick this guy on the floor. The guy's hair is crazy. It looks like he hasn't washed it in 3 days. Like, there's no way I'm going to hire that guy. No, you're not on a constant job interview. But at the same time, if it matters for them, if they're going to take you more seriously when maybe you got up early and you ironed your shirt and you know, you made sure that you took a shower and you smell good and you look good, like, if they're going to take you more seriously, it's not just the employer. Other people will as well. People at church, girls will take you more seriously. The parents of other friends will take you more seriously. And most importantly, I think you'll take yourself more seriously when you're dressing the part.
We've talked about in the episode about hard work and how opportunities can kind of open up the harder you work. Same thing with the way you present yourself. If you present yourself well and you take care of your appearance and people can see, oh, this person, you know, can carry on a conversation with people, can clearly, again, care about the way that they look and the way they present themselves, that'll open up opportunities as well. Job opportunities, you brought up opportunities with girls, you know, fill in the blank. Opportunities will open up the more seriously you take this. And I like the way you ended that with, listen, you'll take yourself more seriously. It's true. And it ties into actually the second point we have on here about why this matters is because it's going to improve your self-image, I guess is a good way to put it. It's going to improve your self-confidence. We had an episode about confidence versus arrogance. We think a healthy self-esteem and a healthy self-image is part of being a godly young man.
No doubt.
You don't want to be the guy that's constantly just down on himself. Man, I'm just so ugly and I'm just so terrible. I'm just a loser. Don't want to be that guy. Nobody else wants you to be that guy either. And so nobody wants to be around those kind of people, as we discussed. And so the person that cares about the way they look, the person that cares about their appearance, it does kind of boost their ego, their self-image, their self-confidence, and that matters as well.
You feel better. And if you can take an extreme example. If you're wearing an Armani suit, which hopefully our listeners understand, what in the world is an Armani suit? $1,000 suit, or you're wearing a cheap thing, cheap fair pair of faded jeans from Walmart. Like, when do you feel a little more confident? You're walking in a suit with your Rolex on. Like, no, you don't have to dress in an Armani suit with a Rolex all the time. But the point stands.
Do you own an Armani suit, Joe?
No, I couldn't afford like a fraction of an Armani suit. So my mom would get our suits from Kohl's, and it'd be like, it's 50% off, and I have a 30% off coupon. So we got a $200 suit for $20. And
you're like, tell.
Yeah. Sorry, Mom, if you're watching, but Will roasted you, and it's true. I think people.
I doubt your mom watches our show.
Yeah, probably not. Probably not. She's not a godly young man, so I don't think she needs to. But anyway, I think the point stands, which is if you are taking care of yourself and you're putting a little more time and effort into what you're wearing, there's nothing wrong with buying clothes from Walmart. But I do have to say, the older I get, the more I actually care a little bit more about buying some nicer clothes that are going to fit better. They're going to wash a little more,
last longer, probably.
Yeah, exactly. Last longer. They lay a little better. They look good. They don't fade. I mean, those things matter. Not everybody is in financial. We're not getting into that side of it. But again, it's the mindset of like, your self-image does matter. And how you view yourself. If you don't like yourself, and I guess consider it from this angle. If you're waking up and you're not putting any time into your appearance, you're barely looking in the mirror, why is that? Is it driven by you not liking yourself? Like, I'm not worth the time it takes to brush my teeth and to comb my hair and to take a shower and all those things. Or do you feel you're worth it? Do you feel that me looking good and me presenting well and me feeling good about who I am is worth it? And so it's kind of a chicken or the egg. Do you do these things because you think well of yourself, or do you think well of yourself because you do these things? Yeah. Well, I'm not going to debate either one. All I know is they both go hand in hand. It's kind of a cycle. The more you put into your image and who you are and to yourself, the more confident you are. And the more confident you are, the more you're willing to do the things that matter. So I think there's a lot that goes into it. But the third reason why I think is it shows you care about life, and it shows you care about the small things. And that may be, you may disagree, you may think it's dumb, but I think the small things do matter. Yes, it shows to yourself, it shows to others, but you have this vitality for life where it's like, instead of, who cares? It is what it is. Like, no, man, we're going to look good, we're going to feel good, we're going to dress good. We're going to be good.
We keep referencing previous episodes. I think it was actually in episode 1 where we talked about there's a false premise for a lot of young men who think that if I just go through life not caring about stuff, that it's cool, right? It's cool not to care.
Right.
We strongly disagree with that, and this is one of those elements where, look, if you're the guy who just, I don't really care, that's not going to take you very far in life. And so it's one of those things. No, you should care. You should care not just about this, of course, about other things, but don't be the guy that, no, I just don't care. Don't be that person. Right. And then we talked about with conquering your mornings. I think that was 2 episodes ago now, where control the things you can control. And we brought up making your bed and how some people might look at that and say, what is the point of making your bed? You mess up the sheets when you get in. I'm
just going to go right back to bed. Yeah,
it's a self-defeating task. It's something you can control, and it's something that if you have that buttoned up, you can probably have the other things buttoned up, versus if you're trying to do a bunch of other things, but you can't even control making your bed or brushing your teeth or brushing your hair or looking good.
Yeah.
All these things compound and they add up. So basically, I guess the way we would say this is, if you take care of this quote unquote small thing, you're probably going to be better equipped to take care of the bigger things.
I agree. It is a relatively, which is why we started the episode. Again, you may look at this and go, man, I really am kind of missing the point of what they're saying. I hope not. I hope this is making sense. But either way, it's a smaller thing that means so much more. It's a microcosm of your life. Like the same way that a messy room is a microcosm. The guy talks about the cluttered desk being the cluttered mind. Messy dress, in my opinion, means messy life.
I got to bring this in, too. This is not on the outline, but I just thought of this. So we want to be... The Great Commission was given to us as Christians, right? Yep. And we need to be conscious of evangelism. We'll do an episode on evangelism at some point about practical things to do as young men.
Yep.
And so you want to be, and I always hate to boil it down to like marketing, because we're not selling the gospel. We're not marketing it. But you want to be a good advertisement for the gospel. You want to be, kind of have I'm a big believer in do everything you can to have a magnetic personality. Yep. Be somebody that people are drawn to. That, hey, I want to know more about that person. And it's the people who, again, present themselves well, look good. They just kind of have a swagger about them that people are drawn to. You think about Joe Burrow in football. He's good. He's a pretty good quarterback. I don't think he's near the best quarterback in the NFL. But, man, he is by far, for a lot of people, the coolest quarterback in the NFL. He dresses well. He dresses... His fashion is on point. And you read his teammates that talk about how he really does have this magnetic personality. People are drawn to him. He's not the tallest, he's not the strongest, he's certainly not the fastest, doesn't have the best arm in the world, but people are drawn to him. It's a magnetic thing, and a lot of it comes with the look good, feel good type of thing. And again, we're not talking about football, we're not talking about being quarterbacks here, but when it comes to reaching people for the gospel, when it comes to just being an enjoyable guy to be around, this kind of thing matters. Have that magnetic personality, and a lot of it goes into the way you dress.
You may hear parents and other people get frustrated, or maybe they get down on the idea of swagger.
Yeah.
Well, you're telling my kid to have swagger. You're telling my kid, depends on how you want to define it. We're not talking the big bling and you're going to put all your money into...
And again, arrogance.
Arrogance and getting grills on your teeth and, just tattooing your face like Post Malone or something. We're not talking about that. We're talking like... the swagger of the way you carry yourself. You walk into a room, people go, all right.
I respect that guy.
I respect that guy. He takes himself seriously. And this is how we do it. And so we wanted to get to some practical tips. I think Burrow is the perfect example. I'm glad you added that, of somebody who does seem to take himself seriously. And he elevates his position, in my opinion, higher than he should be.
I mean, based on his raw talent.
Yeah. He's a talented guy. I mean, certainly more talented than me. He's an NFL quarterback. But based on the way he carries himself. And so we wanted to get into some practical tips.
Because you might be listening to this. Yeah, might be listening to this going, what do they mean by present yourself well and dress well? Like, what does that actually look like? And so we've got some things on here. I'm going to start with the one that I suggested first, and that is try to smell good. Look, everybody's been around the person that you can tell does not use deodorant and certainly does not use any kind of men's cologne. And they just reek of body odor every time you pass by. Don't be that person, okay? Right. Be mindful of that, and hopefully your family is somebody who they'll point that out to you graciously when maybe you're not smelling so good. But man, care about that. Use deodorant, use cologne. Again, with the ladies especially, you're going to be a bigger hit as far as smelling good and just not being the person that when you walk by, it's like, whoa, what is that smell?
Right.
That's the first one I thought of.
Just take care of yourself. Again, I care a lot about the way I smell. So I actually, in my bag, I keep a little deodorant and a little cologne. I got my Coach cologne.
There you go.
Just in case. And it's a little travel deodorant. It's about this big, costs $1, whatever it is. And I've used it a lot. You're going through the airport, and it's like, man, I've been hitting a couple flights today, and I can tell I just
probably
don't
smell
through.
Good,
I don't smell that good. Guess what? I got to back up. Is it the most important thing in the world? No, but it's an experience with people around you. Like, do they experience you in a positive way? And I'll tell you the immediate turnoff. I don't care how nice you are. You walk up and you smell bad. It's just an
talk about not taking you seriously.
Truly.
Yeah.
And so the other thing I would say on the cologne, you do this really well. We've all been around the guy who's
bathes
with
in
his
it.
axe, bathes in it, and then there's just this like, what happened? You know, he walks in and you can't. You're 100 feet away on the other side, and you're like, who is that?
Yeah.
Like, don't be that guy. But I agree. Pick a good smelling cologne. I'm not a big fan of Axe. I would go, you know, a little nicer, whatever it is. That's fine. You go to Marshall's and pick some nice stuff. Like, pick something good. The other one that I would say, and this is very basic, take a shower and make sure you're washing your hair with actual soap and shampoo.
And again, people are like, okay, duh. No, there are guys that don't.
Absolutely. There are guys that are like, man, I just hate taking showers. And so, yeah, I just did some water through. It's like, yeah, we can tell.
Yeah.
We can tell.
Yeah.
Your hair looks like a grease ball. Like you haven't done it washed in a long time. So once again, the very basics. We're not even getting into the clothes you put on. The first things first, smell good and make sure you're taking showers regularly. Where I hate to have to say this, but again, I know guys personally who just, they're younger guys. I hate taking showers. I just don't like it. It takes time, whatever it is. Like, yeah, and it matters too. It truly matters.
Other people enjoy being around you more when you do.
That's
take
right.
showers,
And once again, you take yourself seriously. Where, man, I cannot stand doing a client when my hair is greasy. I take showers, and I know it's not healthy, but I take showers basically every single day. And sometimes, depending on working out in the mornings and what's going on during the day, sometimes twice a day. I realize health-wise that's not great, but I cannot stand having greasy hair and smelling bad and getting in bed at night and getting my clothes or getting my sheets all greasy and everything. No thanks. I'm going to take a shower.
And again, we're getting to the close part here in just a second, but there are guys that are, again, like, man, it's manly to not care about your hair. Right. No, it's not. It's one of those things that, again, you see two people walk in. Which one? Everybody does this. This is not something that just us two do. You look at two people walking in. One clearly takes care of their hair, and the other doesn't. No, you take the guy more seriously who does take care of his hair. And so it's one of those things that it's not girly to care about your hair. It's not girly to make sure your hair's washed and brushed. Right. Those things matter. I want to get into the clothes. Yep. You've got on your wash your clothes. Hopefully that's talk about the most basic level there. Hopefully.
But you have these guys that are like, oh yeah, I'm going on 3 days with the same pair of underwear. I wore the
it's fine.
The sniff test. Like, yeah, you can't hardly smell. Your nose is stuffed up. It smells horrible. Like, wash your clothes.
Yeah.
Don't wear the same thing 3 days in a row.
Right. And so one of the things too that we talked about that really kind of might be a separate, we talked about worship and church etiquette a few episodes ago, 4 or 5 now. But I really do feel like the way, or the type of person who doesn't really care about the way they look in everyday life is also probably not going to care about the way they look at church, at worship service. Yep. Being there as far as worshiping God, that's something you should really care about.
Yeah.
And so I'm a firm believer that if you care about the way you look, again, in your everyday life and presenting yourself well, it's gonna translate to worship. It's gonna translate to, I want to look really good worshiping God. I want to be well dressed to serve on the Lord's Supper table or to lead a prayer or whatever it is. These things are related.
Yeah, no doubt. I think the dress at church, people go, oh, why is it that important to dress? We want to give God our very best.
Yeah.
That's really what it comes down to. We want to give him our very best. I think we covered that on the worship episode a little bit. Just how we present ourselves, mindset. Yet again, if you're taking yourself more seriously, you take your worship more seriously, I feel like, when you show up and you're not in, jeans and a t-shirt for worship. But it is difficult to go from looking disheveled the entire week to, okay, now it, comes church time and I'm ready to go.
Probably not going to happen.
Probably, not typically. It goes along with the week. So no, you don't have to wear your suit all week, but it's the mindset of I'm looking good during the week. And when I show up at the church, I'm, tip-top shape. I'm in the best position possible, and my clothes are ironed and everything else. I didn't just throw on a shirt that is wrinkled to death. Like, those things matter.
So we're not really going with numbers here. We're just kind of throwing them out there. But I guess technically this would be our 5th one. You put this on there, and I guarantee you, if your brother is watching, and I think he does watch our episode. Shout out to Jack.
Yeah, that's right.
He is going to roast you and I for this one. I'm going to let you, because I'll be honest, I care about matching is what Joe put on here. I'll be honest, I don't care quite as much about this one. I'll tell you what I do care about, which I'm going to get made fun of for here in just a second. But get into why you believe this one matters, and maybe why, again, if Jack, Joe's brother, is watching, we're going to get roasted for this one. But care about matching is what you put on
I should be
there.
roasting him because he just doesn't care that much. You can get a little carried away. There's been times we've gotten carried away. You match the watch, the shoes, everything else.
You don't want to be a diva.
Yeah, you don't want to be a diva. But at the same time, look, stripes and plaid don't go together. Do not wear your pinstripe pants with your flannel shirt. I'm sorry. Those things make a difference.
If you've got clothes that have stripes on, we probably need to reset your wardrobe.
Good point.
Stripes are a no-go.
Different episode on what you do and do not wear. But it's very easy to use. Man, I got this bright yellow shirt and some orange pants. You just don't. There is a color theory out there, and I would encourage our watchers and listeners to go look up color theory. Like this is why marketing has an eye. You don't see Nike go with just ridiculously stupid colors.
Nike certainly cares about matching.
Yeah. I mean, it looks good, and there's a reason why it looks good, and there's a reason why certain brands choose different colors, because colors matter. They appeal to the eye. Why do you think a president wears a red or a blue tie at almost all times? Because it denotes something. When they're debating, next time you see a presidential debate, see who's wearing what.
They're not wearing purple.
That's right. Trump would almost always, and not yellow either. I'm not Mr. Nice Guy, no pink. Trump is wearing a red tie. Why?
Republican. But,
Republican. Power.
Yeah.
Power. That's what red means, is there's power to it. Blue is more of a calming thing. So as president, you see a lot of presidents wear blue. Biden wears blue a lot. It's more of a calming type thing. So there is color theory, but in terms of matching your clothes, I don't want to go too deep on that. But it does matter, because you got your crazy looking pants. People, once again, don't take you as seriously, and I don't think you take yourself as seriously. Oh, I just threw this stuff together. It's like, yeah, we can tell.
I'm not a matching guy. The thing I get made fun of for is I'm a name brand guy. I don't like to always wear, knockoff brand, shoes or whatever it is. I tend to like name brands, and that's something that I can definitely get made fun of. But no, I understand what you're saying, and I think it does. Again, we keep going back to this. Care about stuff.
Yeah.
Most of life, maybe there are a few things like, man, I don't really care. We believe as godly young men, you should care about pretty much everything that involves you.
Right.
Care about everything that involves you, your family, your faith. Don't treat it as if, doesn't really matter. Are there different levels to importance? Yes. Again, as we started with, this is not on the same level as your lust battle and as your relationship with God. But there is a level to it that you matter. We're going to have an episode soon about the importance of sports. Does sports matter as much as your relationship with God? Of course not. But you don't want to play sports with a guy that just, I don't really care who wins. It's not enjoyable to be around. And so care about this stuff. Again, if you're still thinking, who cares? Care about this stuff. You've got Don't Look Sloppy on here. And this is one that I wanted you to get into the Casual Friday thing that you brought up before we started. Casual Friday is one of those things a lot of workplaces have. You dress really well Monday through Thursday, and then Fridays are kind of open to be more casual. Maybe jeans are allowed, or don't have to wear a collared shirt, or whatever it is. It differs for the workplace. But the stats that Joe was telling me about Casual Friday before we started were super interesting. Get into those.
Yeah, I don't want to misquote, so I'm not going to use any specific. But what I've heard, and you can find different studies, but from what I've heard, productivity goes way down on Casual Fridays.
How interesting.
In 4-day work week, where there is no Fridays, productivity actually spikes. That's why they're pushing for a 4-day work week, because you have one less day to get things done, so everybody's very productive. Casual Friday, it just drops off of a cliff. Why? Because you're not in the same mindset. If you're wearing a suit to work every day, and then you get to come in Bahama shorts and like
that's
Bermuda shorts, I guess, whatever you want to call them, like
Hawaiian t-shirt,
you're probably not taking it quite as seriously. If you're making sales phone calls and you're on the phone to somebody, like, you're not in that killer instinct. I got to make the sale. It's like, oh, let's kick back.
We preach pretty. You preach more regularly than I do. Imagine if you preached in a pair of shorts or swim trunks or whatever.
That's right.
You're probably going to be a whole lot more relaxed than when you're dressed up in
and
a
everybody
in a
else
suit
will think
and tie.
that too.
Exactly.
So from that perspective, well, the other thing is, like, my mom used to make us, you brought this up, I completely spaced, but we would always have to be dressed at the table when we were homeschooled.
We were both homeschooled, yeah. And so homeschoolers get a reputation of, you guys just do school in your PJs. Not either one of us. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, you're good. Like, how nice. You get to do it in your PJs. Boy, that's got to be really relaxing. No.
Not in our houses.
Not in our houses. 8 a.m., you're at the table. Your bed is made. You have your, you have your breakfast. You will be in your school clothes, your school clothes. It didn't have to be anything crazy, but it certainly wasn't going to be PJs. It had to be something that was presentable. Why? Because it mattered up here. You talked about before. Shoes matter to you, right? You do more work in shoes. We could be working from home. I can work. I'm a therapist, and I do all my clients, or most of my clients, online.
Virtually, yeah.
Virtually. Yeah, I can pretty much wear whatever I want. You know what? I choose to get up and put on nice clothes every day because it's a mindset shift, not because they're going to see anything other than a collar. I mean, I could have a Hawaiian shirt from here down and they wouldn't know. Like, that kind of look goofy. But either way, it's a matter of, I'm here to do work. I'm here to take this seriously. And looking sloppy where, again, it's a wrinkled shirt. You're not tucked in. It looks like it hasn't been washed in a long time. Disheveled. No thanks.
This is why workplaces have a dress code. Golf courses have a dress code. It's because it is a mindset thing. And I guess where we'll wrap is, look, just have a sense of pride in the way that you look. Yep. There are guys that I personally have known. I'm sure Joe have. I'm sure you have. Maybe you're one of these people who, man, any chance they're going to be in basketball shorts. Yeah. Any chance they get, they're going to be in a pair of joggers or sweatpants. And that's not wrong. We're not saying that's a sin. Right, of course, it's not a sin. Not everything is about being a sin. What we're saying is, man, the guys that care about this stuff, the guys that want to go out and present themselves, I wear joggers. It's not that you can never wear joggers, right. But you meet those guys who they want to be in as comfortable clothes as they can possibly be at all hours of the day. Those guys simply don't go quite as far in life as the guys that are actively chasing something, right. The guys that are presenting themselves well. And so we do think this matters. Have a sense of pride in the way that you look. What would you have to kind of wrap up, again, for the people that are going, this doesn't matter, who cares? We think it does. Anything else to add to that?
No, other than we hit the point a lot. We're hitting it again. You take yourself way more seriously.
Yeah.
Even if you don't care about what other people think. Yeah, we had that. Peer pressure. Don't care about what other people think. Yeah, there's absolutely that aspect is true. I do think there's a certain level where we can go too far in the other direction. More than anything, how do you view yourself? Do you like who you see in the mirror when you wake up in the morning? Is that somebody that you care about, that you say, this guy is worthy of me taking some time? Worthy of me, again, brush my teeth, comb my hair. I put lotion on. I put lotion on my face and go, wow, how gay. No, these things matter to me because, you know what, I don't like having a flaky face because my face gets really dry.
Yeah.
Those things matter. So this isn't you have to do everything on the list. It's a mindset of what you just spoke to. Do you care about, does Joe care about Joe? Do I care about the way that I feel about myself and think about myself and look in the mirror, and am I happy with who I am? And when that's the case, and when I take pride in who I am, things change. Yeah. People view me differently. More importantly, I view myself differently, and I feel way more able to conquer and to strive for greatness.
Absolutely, and I think that's a great way to wrap. We got something. I tend to want to add something kind of fun and lighthearted at the end. We didn't do it last week because last week's episode was very serious, right. And we don't always have time. But I was actually looking up. Today's April 4th. At least the episode is dropping on April 4th. I think everybody knows we're not filming on April 4th, but it's dropping on April 4th. Guess what? You're not going to guess, but two people that are very well known as far as actors were both born on this day, April 4th. Heath Ledger, Robert Downey Jr. Both born on the same day. Heath Ledger obviously has passed away. So a little get to know us type of thing. Which actor do you prefer? Which one would you rather watch a movie with? Heath Ledger, Robert Downey Jr. Heath Ledger was Joker in The Dark Knight. He was, I forget the guy's name, in The Patriot. He was in 10 Things I Hate About You, a bunch of stuff. And of course, Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man. Everybody knows him as Iron Man. Which one do you prefer?
Man, that is rough. Put me on the spot.
I know. These are guys that are too high up or both high up on the list.
If I had to watch one movie with either of them, obviously it'd be Dark Knight with Heath Ledger as Joker. If I was going to like a new project.
So I was actually going to have you rank some of their best movies. So don't give too much away, but go ahead.
Oh, man. I love Robert Downey Jr. I think he's given some really good. There's been a couple that I've seen him in that are way away from what he normally does.
Yeah.
And I appreciate his acting. I think Heath Ledger was probably a little more nuanced, though.
Yeah.
But the rom-coms and such he was in.
And playing Joker. Can't imagine.
Yeah, that was one of the best. How about you?
Well, Robert Downey Jr. is hilarious. I love watching him. I think his personality, he's just funny. So I would say Robert Downey Jr. I love Heath Ledger. So the movies, and we'll preface it, watch these movies on Clear Play. There's some language issues.
Sure.
That, that's the great thing about movie or things like Clear Play and VidAngel. You don't have to listen to all those cuss words. But The Dark Knight, you got Iron Man. We'll throw in Endgame, and then The Patriot is a big Heath Ledger movie. Rank those movies for me real quick as we wrap up. I'll go first because you weren't prepared, so I'll go first.
That's rough.
Dark Knight is number one.
Yep.
That one is super good. I actually would go The Patriot 2, which is funny because I said Robert Downey Jr., but Heath Ledger gets the top two spots for me. Then I'm going to go probably Iron Man, and then, I think he's really good in Civil War, too. I think as he's, fighting against Captain America, and that's really good. That's the way I would rank them.
And then Endgame is fourth.
I would say probably Endgame.
I was actually going to do the exact same ranking.
Really?
I think, as you were talking, I think Dark Knight is just tough to beat. From a movie perspective, even if Heath Ledger, that was an all-time performance. If you've seen the Joaquin Phoenix one, again, Clear Play. Joker, that was a very interesting take on Joker, but for me, nothing beats Heath Ledger's.
It is my favorite movie of all time.
But I was going to say, as a movie, it's basically, it stands above almost everything else regardless of that. Patriot's such a good movie. Any Mel Gibson movie, or almost any Mel Gibson directed movie, is going to be.
I love those historical ones too.
Yeah, and it's so good, and it's just how can you not come away like cheering for America and wanting to be patriotic and everything else. Robert Downey Jr. because those are. That's the difficult thing. I think he gets typecast a little bit. And so he got in the Iron Man role, and that's great. And then I've seen him in other stuff where they're just trying to make him another version of Iron Man, kind of the snarky.
And to his defense, nobody else could have played Iron Man the way he did.
I agree.
He was
and
so
Iron
good.
Man was a great movie. Again, cleaned up. It was a fantastic movie and started off Marvel. I mean, yeah, the Hulk. Nobody cares about the Hulk. I'm sorry. That doesn't count. Edward Norton. That does not count.
You're right.
But, yeah, to start off everything, I think nobody could have handled it better than him. So I'm with you. I think I'd take Robert Downey Jr., but that's my ranking.
Agree. And, just a fun way to end it. If you're somebody who does not know who those two people are, I would be very surprised. But if you actually care about, if you're a Marvel fan, you've seen Robert Downey Jr. So comment which one you prefer as far as the actor go, and which movies you prefer. Again, this is one of those episodes, we took it a little more lighthearted, but we would say take it seriously. It is something that matters. I don't think we're going to preview what we're doing next week. This is episode 14.
That's right.
We still got so many things we want to get to.
So many things.
Importance of sports.
Evangelism we talked about last week.
Leading your family, like all these things. Yep. Man, we've got lined up episodes. So again, not just with which actor do you prefer, but keep the suggestions coming as far as which episodes you want to hear. Those things are very helpful to us too. And so I think that's where we're going to wrap. We'll end right there. This has been episode 14. Tune in next week for episode 15 of the Godly Young Men podcast.